I'm working on making Erza's armor currently. I'm going to show you how I made the pauldron, the shoulder armor. So what I did was first I bought foam. So I bought foamies, the big roll, 2 millimeters thick, 36 inches by 60 inches. This is a piece of like what it looks like, very thin and flexible, good for making armor. So what I first did was, out of paper, I traced the shape of like what Erza's armor kind of looks like. So this way I could cut it, make adjustments, and see how it fit for my shoulder. Or you could even do this out of like tissue paper or something else. But I went with paper because it's thick and you can bend it, so it kind of holds the shape pretty good. And then what I did was, since hers looks like there's parts to it, I did 2 for the bottom of it. So kind of like that. And then for the top, this piece. And I measured the top about 1 inch, and I kind of drew where I wanted it to, how much I wanted to show. So then that part would be glued underneath. And what I did was I bent it, folded it into the 4 panels, kind of what she's got. And that way it'll line up really nicely. And so the final product of what I made looks like this. I think it turned out pretty good. So how I made it was, the inside here, as you can see, the 4 pieces I cut out, which I just took this, traced it onto the foam, and I bent it, folded it. So what's nice about this foam is when you lay it on top of it, you can fold it with your creases, and it keeps those creases. So the other thing that I use, and what if you'd like to use too, is Floral Wire. You can find it in Michael's, or I'm sure Hobby Lobby, or some craft store. So what I did was, the foam, it doesn't keep this shape, sadly. So what I did was, I measured kind of out the floor wall, and you want it kind of straight and as flat as possible. And you do not want it to go completely to the edges, because you don't want it to stick out or, you know, poke out. And then you just cut it. You can use wire cutters. I use these, which work fine. Then I used hot glue, which you can kind of see in here. I painted it white so it won't look so bad. But I didn't paint, or I didn't glue it at the creases. That way you can bend it to any shape you want. So how I did that was, I just had it here, and where it's creased, I just put my fingers in the way. And so I glued here, here, and here. And I just waited for that to dry, took my fingers away, and then I might have had to add on a little extra glue if it was too big of a space, and that way it turns kind of into something like that. And I did this first. I glued in the wire, and then I glued the pieces together. So I did at the edges kind of, and then a little bit in the middle. And you can make it for any character, or even Link in Hyrule Warriors. He has a pauldron like this on one of his shoulders. So I hope this was helpful. This was the easiest thing I could come up with on my own, and cheap too. And for the paint, I used Shimmer Metallic. I bought this from Michael's. It's good for craft foam. It says there specifically craft foam. and I liked how the coloring came out. And then afterwards you can put on this crystal clear coating which protects it, which is what I just did, so it's still kind of drying a little bit. And I'd highly recommend wearing a mask if you use like the shimmer metallic color, because there's so many sparkles in it, it gets in the air everywhere, so definitely do it outside. Wear a mask so you don't breathe it in, because I wouldn't want to breathe this in. So this is what I did. I hope this was helpful. If you have any comments of maybe you did something different that worked, or you think this is great, or you have a recommendation as to something a little different, if you think it could be done a little better somehow, please comment below. Thanks.